To Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. And Bobby, the weather does play a huge role in all of this too.
Especially once red tide is established, where's red tide, and more importantly, how is the weather going to affect where that red tide will go? So this is something that they produce. This is called the red tide trajectories, and what they're basically doing is saying that parcel of water right there over the next 3 days through about the 11th or so of this month will go like this. So it'll be drifting. So if you've got red tide and you see the colors that are here, those colors are set up for what they are measuring red tide. They're not measuring it here. They're not measuring it there. They're measuring a little bit here with the yellow. They're measuring more right here. And then you can see up behind Fort DeSoto as well, too. And then you also see what's happening in the mouth of the bay. There's a little bit there, swashing back and forth. That's the tide going in and out over the next 3 days or so. And so we use wind forecasts. When I'm telling you what the wind's going to be each afternoon, we use that not only locally to see what you're going to be looking like, but also where's that water potentially going to go, because there are also tides and currents that are involved with this as well too. So it's a little complicated, but the wind really helps us figure that out. Now, the next 12 hours, we've got light northerly winds. It's gotten up to about central Pinellas and points southward. A southerly wind would push it further to the north. We're looking at light northerly winds. There will be a little bit of an onshore flow. Now, you start talking about airborne issues, right? When you're close to the beach and there's red tide there, the wind's blowing on shore in the afternoon with the sea breeze, you start to feel it a little bit. Cough, maybe a scratchy throat, that type of thing. Could get some of that as we go through the next several days. Now let's take the forecast model for just winds. Let's go out through the weekend. This is Saturday. More of a north to northeast wind eventually, especially midday. And so that will tend to push most of that just offshore. That's why those trajectories were going in that direction. Then when you start looking as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, more of an east wind, but watch this. By Wednesday and Thursday, we've got a front approaching. That's going to be blowing a lot of wind onshore until we get this, which is still going to blow onshore. That's another big cool down that's coming. So we're watching it. This is a live look out at St. Pete Beach right now. It looks pretty good. There are some dark patches offshore, but man, I was out yesterday. It was really nice, especially in the Clearwater area. 76 degrees right now. Most areas are in the upper 70s to low 80s. Look at it. The beautiful, I mean, this is like Southern California, basically. 80 in the afternoon, 60 in the morning. That continues. Just a few clouds over on the East Coast. We'll have partly cloudy skies, especially south of I-4 for today. And the quiet weather continues. Next 12 hours, down through the 70s into the 60s. Tomorrow morning will be a little bit on the cooler side, but I mean, very comfortable. Upper 50s to low 60s. Look at the weekend forecast. Highs really struggling to get to 80 degrees for most locations, so it's even better. All of these numbers, though, are still a little bit above average. We should be about 75 for a high this time of the year.